Hey everybody, Dimitri here with Serg Supply, and today we're going to revisit wiring.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, now before I dive into this, I just want to talk about what this is and why we have it. And you guys know that the intention and purpose behind this YouTube channel, aside from showing some of our products, is to be helpful to people and be a resource and be something worth watching if you're a DIYer or if you're in the market for a brand new van. So what is this and why did we put it together? Well, this is the full build DIY wiring kit. This is intended for folks who are building their vans themselves. Now, let me address the haters in the comments section. Just kidding, you guys have been very supportive. But yes, anybody can make this. Anybody can. All of these materials are available to everybody, and we're not shy about sharing exactly what we use and why we use it. It's all in the descriptions of our products. That being said, despite the fact that anybody could put together this kit, not everybody has the time or experience or just generally, honestly, it's the time. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of research and consulting people and a lot of tips and tricks you learn along the way. Now, we have had hundreds of builds leave our shop with the same methodology of wiring. We've had thousands of vans on the road who use our products. And so we've collected data from people over the years, and we know what works, we know what doesn't, and we've condensed all of that into the simple wiring kit that kind of just covers the essentials. This is intended for DIY builders who are handy, who can probably full well put this together, but don't want to spend the days or weeks it takes to figure out exactly what they're going to need to buy in bulk to make this happen. All right, so you may notice if you head to the product link in the description, this is one product, but there are a ton of variants, and I'll explain those real quick. They all come with the same exact things. However, the length of the wire is determined by the vehicle that you have. So I'm going to try this in one take. Let's see how it goes. But here's all the vehicles that we've pre-made these kits for. We've got the Sprinter 144, the Sprinter 170, 170 extended length, Promaster 136, 159, 159 extended length, Transit 118, 148, and 148 extended length. Those are kind of all of the vans we see here. I mentioned before, we've done enough of these to kind of have a good idea on how long they need to be. An example of this is, let's say this wire right here. This is a power to fan number 1 wire, and in a Sprinter 144, the most common position in all Sprinters, in fact, for the fan is zone number 2. It's got a round indentation on the ceiling. We know most folks are going to put a fan there, but the distance from your power system, which we presume will be on the driver's side, that's always where we put it, to that fan is usually 15 feet in a Sprinter 144, but it's going to be closer to 25 feet in a Sprinter 170. That's what we've accounted for with this kit. Now let's talk about the wiring specifically and what makes it special. Now this wiring, if you take a look at it, it doesn't really look that glamorous, but there's a few key things here that we repeat in all of our wiring. Number one is safety, 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 safety. I can't say it enough. These wires are all rated according to ABYC standards. I think it's American Boat and Yacht Club, who knows. It's, for us, the highest grade of wiring standards out there because homes, they don't move. Homes stand still, they're stationary. Vans, they vibrate. And your standard solid core wire for your house is not gonna work for your home. If you were to go onto like a standard, like North American standard wiring calculator and find out what wire you need to power your Max Air fan, I swear it's going to show like 2 gauge wire. It's like this thick. It's crazy. You don't need that when you have good wire. This is tinned and braided, insulated marine grade wire. It's the highest grade that we can get. It's the highest grade we want to get. It's what we use in everything. It's just safe. That allows smaller gauges to be able to hold higher currents. Now, each one of these wires is rated for the length, the run, and the current that we assume it's going to. So most puck lights, most lights are going to be less than 5 amps. And there's a disclaimer in our product listing that basically states this. And most of the fan wires we're running to are going to Max Air fans. That's what these are rated for. Again, this isn't going to fit every single build, but this is going to fit most of those DIY builds. Now, aside from your high-end insulated wiring, we also went the extra mile. Every single one of these wires is loomed. It's got this protective sheathing all around it. And we know, let me be real with you here. When you're feeding wire in a hot van in the middle of the summer, you're not massaging the thing as it runs through the van. More than likely, you're going to get pissed off once or twice, and you're really going to try to pull that thing through. This wire loom helps protect it from getting caught in exposed metal, ripping, tearing, and more importantly, this heat shrink at the tip. If you're making these wires at home yourself, this is key in sealing everything up and keeping that wire loom from getting loose. Of course, the end of every wire has a stripped end that we presume is going to go in your power system. This will work for Renogy, EcoFlow, Victron, portable systems, you name it. And then the other side, we've done you the courtesy of getting Wagos on here. If you don't know what Wagos are, we've got a bunch of videos on our channel you can check out. We go into depth about those. They're amazing. But the idea is you take this wire, put it in your power system, run it through your vehicle, get it to your max air fan, you shove your wires in here, close the lever, and you're finished up. Now that I've kind of talked to you about the specific construction of the wire, let me tell you about the wires themselves. Now, I mentioned before we've got two main wires here that are for your max air fan. They are of a thicker gauge and they are different lengths. We carry the presumption that you're going to have one fan in the back, one fan in the front. If you have an air conditioner, awesome, good for you. You can afford an air conditioner. The rest of us, we have to sweat and we want to sweat safely. So those two fan wires, you already know what they do. Moving on, we have this set of three wires. This is unique. So they actually serve the same purpose. They support the same thing, but the first wire that's going to be doing a bit of a longer run, this is your main power wire going from your power system to this bad boy, your dimmer switch. And it's got rockers on the end that are ready to power this thing up. The other two wires are from your dimmer to your lights. Now we have two for a reason. We have two switches for a reason. That reason being most of the builds we run into are two general scenarios. Scenario number one is you have only lights in the ceiling and you want a rear zone and a front zone because you don't need your lights on all the time. That's scenario number one. It works well for that. Scenario number two is you're going to join all of your ceiling lights into one kind of common button, one zone, one ballast, and your overhead cabinets are going to be the other puck light or the other dimmer. So that's why we split it up the way we did. And now that we're done talking about the DC circuit, let me talk a little bit more about the AC stuff. All right, so AC, there's nothing special here. If you've ever done your own wiring at home, you're familiar with AC. The only difference, of course, is higher grade wires. Most of the AC wires we do are 14 gauge for the vans, but there's one unique thing you'll notice here that's a little different. These are two different plugs, two different outlets. And let me explain, let me save you the tuition payment of not having to do what we've done so many times when, oh, you idiot, why you keep doing that? So this box here, this blue box that's housing your outlet, they look a little different. This one is a low profile box. This just has two 110 volt outlets. This is primarily for people's kitchen areas or charger plugs in the front for passengers. This goes into the wall. And this box is really unique because we've tried these in the past, and if you've done wiring in your van before, you already know some areas of the van are not deep enough to hold insulation and this outlet box, which leaves you with two options. And they're not great options. Three options really. Option number one, cut the back of the box off and completely defeat the purpose of insulating and enclosing it. Option number two, use no protective box on the back, and now you've just got exposed wires in your van. And God forbid you hit a speed bump and the whole thing burns down. And number three, you have to get a completely different outlet, something that's really low profile, but you lose all of the USB chargers that come with it. Those aren't great options. We've settled for a fourth, and that's just go with the standard plug, a little more low profile, and get a box that's really easy to just snap in place. Now, this goes in sideways. I'll actually turn it this way to show you. It goes in sideways like this, and it just snaps right into your wall. You shoot it in place, and it's got a total depth of about 2¼ inches, giving you perfect clearance for Havelock wool or Thinsulate in just about any of the vehicles I mentioned. In fact, you won't have any problems with any of those vehicles unless you cut the hole for the outlet right on a metal beam. Then you've got other problems, and you can email us. We'll sell you a wall kit to cover that crap up. This box right here, this is the deeper box. This is intended to go into cabinets. We've made it much longer on purpose because almost always this outlet is going to go through the power system box, over the van, over the top, down the side on the other side, and it's going to live inside of your passenger side box. Most of the showers we do are portable showers, like the rinse kit, let's say, or the jewel cut, and a lot of those outdoor appliances, adventure appliances, we're putting in the passenger side wheel well boxes. So that's the reason for that. Now this does include the USB charging ports. It's like two standard USB plugs and a USB 3.0. But generally speaking, AC circuits are pretty simple. These two work for us. It's what we do in nearly every build, and that's why we decided to include it in this kit. Okay, and the last item really to go over here is our actual dimmer kit. Now we have a video on this on our channel. Feel free to go browse to our channel. You can check it out. I'm not going to bore you with the details here. It's basically just your simple 12-volt dimmer kit. It shines blue when it's off. It's dimmable. It's tactile. There's no real buttons. You just kind of touch to use it. And of course, the Wagos that are on your wires are the same ones that are going to go into this. Everything's labeled and kind of just ready to plug and play. And we have 4 mounting screws with finish washers in black to match. Overall, folks, this is a short video. This is not a complicated product. I want to reiterate and emphasize, anybody can put these together. But for those who want to save the time and get that build out faster, not have to worry about stocking hundreds of feet of extra wire, this kit might just work for you. As always, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. Keep up with the channel. I'm going to keep dropping more silly stuff for you guys. As always, I really appreciate you watching, and happy building.